Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Hasbro Marvel Legends series, part of the Gamerverse Spider-Man 2 series with PS5 game. Felicia Hardy Black Cat figure. Very excited to finally have this one here. This is a unique character compared to like the 3 Miles and 2 Peters we got in this wave. As opposed to Venom that was released separately. This is a good stepping point to hopefully get some more unique characters in the game, or maybe we won't, I don't know. But hopefully this is just a good sign with this wave doing decently well for my understanding that we will hopefully get more of these Gamerverse figures in the future. Let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. I've been covering these past few videos and I've been really liking this packaging here. Marvel Legends series, warning, choking hazard. Figure in the box with some of the contents there, as well as a white spider logo with a red backdrop. It does say Felicia Hardy Black Cat. And all the way down here, we do have where it says ages 4 and up. It also says Marvel Spider-Man 2, Marvel Gamerverse, and that Hasbro logo right there. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the top of these packagings here are going to just say Gamerverse. The side here is Marvel Legends. It does say Felicia Hardy Black Cat. This little image of the character from the game, like straight up ripped up from the game. So there is a screenshot there. She doesn't have the same posing as like the skin select that the other characters have, or Miles and Peter, simply because you can't select her as a character. So you have her pretty much paired up in this pose here compared to the rest of the art. It does say Felicia Hardy Black Cat, and you can see all the characters going on there. Just the skins really. And then there's a bunch of stuff there, whatever that is. Now, I am going to go ahead and take a look at the bottom of the packaging here. There's a barcode in case you need this if you're looking for this in stores or online or whatever. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. Here's the figure out of the packaging. She doesn't get a 360 shot today because she will not stand on the 360 base. She will keep falling off all the time. It's a miracle she's standing right now. Unfortunately, this is an action figure in heel, so that's just going to happen. Overall, I'm not super happy with this one. I don't hate it at all. I think it's quite nice. It's definitely the weakest out of the standard figures I've gotten so far. I don't know. It's a little frustrated. We'll see as the review goes on. Maybe I won't be as frustrated. But let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories. Don't take a closer look at the figure. Here's a quick image of what she looks like with the claw hands, because she comes packaged with one hand that is holding, an accessory, and then the other hand is meant for just being a fist. So as you can see here, we do have the claws. They look pretty nice in the figure. These here, they're not super detailed, but really nothing throughout this whole wave has been super duper detailed. At least when it comes to hands. Some weird fuzz on this one. So the paint work actually is quite nice. We do have, back of the hands do have some white paint. I do think there's some protruding. Yeah, so I can feel, actually, is there separate parts sculpted? I think there is, yeah. So there's a section protruding a little bit from the sculpt, and then they did paint that with white. Then you do have the claws, pretty much the first section of the finger completely painted in white. Not much going on in the palms, that detailing. Not too bad though. We do have this Wand of Watum accessory for her section in the PS5 game. Or I should say specify, Spider-Man 2. She has the Wand of Watum traveling through portals. Let's see. I think that this is actually scuffed a little bit right here. This little horn section. And then some of this like greenish yellow translucent plastic is bleeding through a little bit in like the eye sections on each of the ends here. This is a pretty nice accessory though. We have this darker colored like silver all the way around here. I think it is missing some sections. Like it's splotching a little bit over on some of the the yellow there, the translucent plastic. This is a bit of a softer plastic, so that's cool. I'll go ahead. Let's see if I can fit it into the hand really easily. Yeah, so it fits in there nice and snug. It might be a little bit loose, but not the worst grip for that. This is different from the Doctor Strange Walmart exclusive Wand of Watum. So you can see it's just much bigger. It's much more comic accurate. And these sections here actually rotate a little bit at each end. These are separate parts. Whereas this thing is all one complete sculpt going on here. I believe this is the only figure in this whole wave that has like a real person type of likeness. I don't think any of the Peters or Miles come with alternate heads. So finally, you know, with these past few reviews, we get to see an actual person, or you know, at least a character model of an actual person. We do have the goggles here that are in a translucent plastic with some black painted around there, and the eyes and eyebrows and eyelashes, everything around her eyes looks really fantastic. It's quite a gorgeous figure. I think they captured her very well based on how she looks in the game. I think almost completely. There might be a couple features here and there that I can't think of in terms of her facial features, but I really can't narrow it down right now. The lip color is really good too. I think her face, at least in person, seems a little bit more rosy compared to whatever paint they have going on in the neck right there. And it is a little bright, so her hair, it kind of has this, it has this almost like this dark wash, like gray almost, in her hair. So I do like that. I like that they actually have some paint detailing. But some sections have like these darker ends where it gets really dark. It almost looks like it's dirt. You gotta be honest. Like especially, and it's gonna be a little hard to see with my camera, but I just feel like a little bit of the, again, I appreciate that they actually did some shading in the wash in some areas, but it does look like it gets a little dirty more than whatever I think they were trying to accomplish. I have a lot of fuzz on this figure for some reason too. This back ponytail section, it is removable. Probably shouldn't be. It keeps popping out actually way too much. It doesn't feel like it's a very secure fit when you're pushing it in. So just keep that in mind. But the way they detailed the actual hair looks great. And then the ears there. And then I do feel like the hair is a little bit too separated, but yeah, it's really not that bad. The rest of her outfit has some pretty nice detailing going on. We have these line sections going down, you know, all the way around the chest, and then a lot of like asymmetrical details going on here with how they have this section here with the white. There is a little bit of a splotch there. The rest of the, you know, the black here, it is just a slightly glossy black. A little bit of detailing around the neck piece though, so that is also quite nice. Some line sections at the very top of the chest there. Then these like arrow type sections around her waist. You have that on the back too. Detailing on her hips right there too. And then the rest of this white paint, I feel like, no, that's part of the design actually. I thought that was a splotch, but I can see some sculpting. There's, I think almost everything in terms of white is separated in the sculpt. Yeah, I'm feeling it. And it, I believe it is all separated. So that is a nice touch. A completely unique looking figure. I don't know how they're going to be able to reuse this in the future. So, you know, this might be the only time we get this exact body mold. Maybe some retooling in the future. I don't exactly know. But then we do have, at least in the camera, this kind of looks more like a cream color. And this looks more a little bit closer to pure white on there. So not sure what's going on entirely. But again, some nice detailing, you know, detail sections with this. I don't know what that shape would be, but like this arrow type section going down here. A little bit of a black splotch there. I did talk about the first sections. We do have some pretty good, God, it's so bright. Yeah, so we do have actual sculpted fur type sections, and these are softer plastic. I think the sculpting could look better, but for a figure like this, I don't think it's too bad overall. And again, I talked about the paint there. We have one gripped hand here, which we actually have some nice knuckle detailing. Or maybe that's just in the paint, I'm not sure. But that looks good. Then this one's closed. So they've been doing this a lot lately, almost like McFarlane, to where we have a gripping hand or some other type of posing hand, and then a one fist. You don't get both. And then whatever alternate pair of hands you get, you know, they work it out somehow. I don't exactly know, but like Daredevil and Punisher from the Disney Plus shows, they're having that done. I don't love that. Just give us 2 pairs of each. I mean, the Miles and Peter got 6 hands total. Why couldn't she? So I did already talk about the rest of the torso. There's more black splotching. It's not super noticeable, but it's not to my liking. We do also have some line sections around the hips there. And then we do have white paint. Actually, you know, it's going to break up when you move this around, but the lining up of it, you know, lining it up is not too bad, I don't think. Pinless tech all around. I feel like I have to keep saying that, but really I don't, because that's kind of the norm now. again, really nice line sections in the black here. So you don't get a lot of paint in the black, but you do get a lot of line detailing. It's not too shallow either. Getting all the way down to like the boot sections, again, we have this fur type detailing, which does look a little bit dirty, but it doesn't look too bad. And then we get down to these dreaded heels. Yeah, so these are a little bit difficult for her to stand. If you have some type of base that will work for this, I do recommend using that. A little bit of treading on the bottom there. Not much detailing on the top. So this really is a nice looking figure. I really can't, think of any complaints besides a little bit of paint splotching here and there. This is where things might start to fall apart, and I mean that quite literally, because articulation is quite good, but if we have like the head here, okay, so that ponytail actually isn't falling off yet. That's pretty good. This is very loose though, so it does swivel. Just be aware of that. The head actually goes quite far, and then that's as far down as it wants to go, and then you can rotate it. And because there's some space in here, you do get a little bit of head tilt. No butterfly joints, but the arms here go out farther than the symbiote Spider-Man, which is insane. Good for her though. Arms go all the way around. You have an upper arm swivel. This feels really loose. I feel I should not be able to rotate it that easily. And then double joint elbow is quite good. Remember when we had single joints for females? That was crazy. Swivel here at the wrist. Back and forward isn't too bad, but this is going to be for all sets of hands. I'm double checking. Yeah, should be fine. So torso, or it could be better. Definitely not as good of a range of motion as the symbiote Spider-Man. Side to side, it's fine, I guess. Some of these details are hidden a little bit right there to kind of make it look like it's continuing. Forward and back really won't work at all, but it's really just meant for a swivel. You do get forward, not by a lot, but you do get a back at this hinge. Then you have legs going forward, back not really at all. You have, of course, not a perfect split, but you do have upper thigh swivel a little bit tight on this figure. Double jointed knees there. The ankle really does not want to go down because of this heel and because these things get in the way too. Up like so, and then you do get ankle rocker no matter what. She's just going to be hard to stand. Measuring out this figure, we are getting at a little over 15 centimeters at the very top of her actual head, not including her ponytail or anything. So she is just going to be at 6 inches, maybe a little bit under. She is going to be a little bit shorter than a Peter Parker figure there. She actually is a little bit shorter than both Miles figures too. And I don't really need to tell you, but she's going to get towered over by Venom. So I did have a decent amount of inconveniences when I was trying to review this, so hopefully that doesn't play a factor into the overall ranking or review of this too much, but I will say this is quite a decent figure. I really like the head sculpt. I really like the overall outfit, the unique body here. Paint apps could be cleaner. Articulation for the most part is pretty good, but some areas, some joints just feel a little too tight. Ponytail is a pretty big problem. It keeps popping off, at least when I'm trying to mess around with it. And, some of the fur and her hair, a little interesting looking. It's a little too dirty if you ask me, even though I do appreciate they did put in a wash. And it is quite hard for her to pose and just stand on her own because of her heels. You definitely need something to stabilize her. The claws are pretty nice for accessory hands. The one with the tomb was a pretty nice touch, but I do wish she had, ambidextrous hands for fists as well as grabbing accessories. That would have been cool. This one here, I'm kind of having a harder time justifying $25, $26, however many dollars this was. The other figures, not so much. I think they're worth the price. Maybe weigh on this one a little bit, but it's still quite nice. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about this figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.